The sky is falling! The sky is falling!
Good morning. This is Bryan with DD214. Please like, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications. Guys, come on in the house. Get you a cup of coffee and let's talk about a few things. Today we're going to be talking about this. The recession is coming, the recession is coming, the recession is coming. Am I a fortune teller? No. Can I see the future? No. What I am listening to is the Fed chair and every economic indicator out there. So today we're going to talk about how you can recession-proof or minimize the damage that could happen to your company in a recession. Okay, to start this thing out, a recession is nothing more than a slowdown in the economy. And Fed chair said the other day that he was going to raise interest rates to the point that it was going to be painful to both businesses and people. So as that interest rate goes up, the inflation will come down because people stop buying. Money is not readily available to borrow, and it causes a recession. They don't have a lot of choice, in my opinion, but this is what's going to happen. They're calling for it mid-next year. So, what can we do? Well, recessions has happened throughout my life. It's up and down, up and down. It's just the way, it's just a cyclical nature. It's just the cyclical nature of the economy. So, what can we do? Well, the first thing you want to do is between now and December, about the second week in December, you want to run hard. And you want to absolutely bank as much money as you can bank. Because as you know, everything in this country, everything anywhere is really supply and demand. So if you have all these trucks out there and people stop buying or people stop moving money around, the supply for freight's going to drop. And when it drops, you're still going to have all these trucks sitting there. No freight. So what's going to happen to the prices? It's going to go through the floor. So you got to be able to weather this. So while freight is going to be good between now and this second week in December, you need to run hard and bank cash. The second thing you need to do is eliminate your debt. Debt is part of doing business, but you need to cut as much as you can cut before this recession hits, because things are going to slow down. Freight's going to get slow. Freight rates are going to get bad, and you have to have enough money in the bank to say, hey, I'm not running for this mess. It's cheaper for me to stay home, because you cannot run for break even or a loss. You have to understand that. All right, so the next thing you want to do is you want to calculate your monthly expenses. You want to calculate your home expenses and you want to calculate your business expenses. Keep them separate, but calculate them. Know exactly what you have that's coming out every month to keep the business up. If you never move that truck, to keep that business up and alive, what is that going to cost you every month? What is it going to cost your family every month to keep moving? All right, so you're going to calculate that. Once you get this calculated and understand exactly what it's costing you, you want to pay off all the unnecessary debt, garbage, like you put chains on a credit card. You got to get that paid off. You don't want to be paying that. The second thing is you have to trim the fat. I'm going through my bills right now, today, and I'm trimming. I'm calling, for example, the one thing I just saw was my cable bill is insane. I don't watch TV. I'm going back to these cable people and I'm saying, hey, look, if you can't cut it, you can shut it off. All right? So you have to renegotiate all this stuff with those providers. Okay, so the next thing you want to remember, something you do not want to stop doing with your business, is don't stop networking. Okay? You got to keep that out there. You got to keep moving. Action breeds activity. If you sit still, everything will die. It will die. So you have to keep moving. The freight rates may be so bad that it's not worth running, but you can continue to make these networking contacts and keep things moving that way, so that once this recession goes through its cycle and we're back on the upswing, then you're there. That's where you want to be. Okay? First, you got to survive the downswing in this economy, which is coming. The next thing you want to do is prepare yourself for the upswing. I know this is always hard, but any economist, any financial advisor, anywhere in the world will tell you to live within your means. You guys, if you're already out there and you're busting your butt and you're running HotShot, you know you're making decent money, and a lot of times you feel like, oh, I deserve this or I deserve that, I'm killing myself here. Well, let me just tell you, when a recession comes, it's not about what you deserve. This is survival mode. You get it out of all that stuff. You know, the country club memberships, the golf course memberships, whatever you got that is not essential. You're going to have to bring it down to essentials. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're not going to do. If you're not sure what your discretionary spending is on, then do a budget. Get a budget, go through it, figure it out, because once you know where your money's going, you can figure out where to trim. The next area is really hard for me because, and personally hard for me, because you have to, change your mindset. And you have to change that mindset in understanding and realizing what is happening out there. And you have to lower your expectations as to what you're going to be able to make every month. You know, you have to get into a reality mindset and say, look, this sucks, but there's nothing I can personally do about it now other than stop the bleeding. Stop the bleeding means, you know, you have to pull in the expenses, good, bad, or indifferent. Unnecessary expenses have to be cut. Unnecessary employees have to be cut. Outsource that stuff. It's tough. I mean, it's going to be tough. When it happens, you're going to have all these trucks and all these drivers out there, and they're going to falter. You can see now with just a little bumps in the roads over the summer cyclical, summer cyclical, freight's always down. So you saw really, really quick how many people went out of business. They couldn't make the cyclical. So if you can't make the cyclical, you're never going to survive a recession. So guys, be sure that you hear this. And I'm saying it, but go back and listen to these things multiple times and take notes, because I want to see you come out the other side of this thing. All right. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk to you about is focus on the big picture. And the big picture is this. We're on a downturn in the economy, or we're going to be. They said mid next year. Okay, so we're looking at a downturn in the economy. Okay, so you do what you can do to keep your business running. What might that be? You may park your MC, and that is just set it over on the side and park it. You could lease on to another company. Now I'm going to tell you, I haven't said this yet and I haven't made the video on it, but DD214 is going to start taking lease-ons. We haven't got it all worked out yet, and it's something I never wanted to do, but we're going to end up doing it. So you may want to do that. You may want to lease onto a company with an older MC so that you don't have to suffer for crumbs. The next thing you could consider is, no, this is not a consideration. The next thing you have to do is get your CSA score up. Get your safety score up and maintain it. I just put out a video about C.H. Robinson and Costco and all them getting sued. Look, guys, no, these guys are now looking at your CSA score. They are now adding points for HOS violations as far as it being on your safer score now. They made a little page up there for that. So that's now adding into it. So that's huge, is to get that score up. If you want to know how to get your score up, you have to remember it's on a rolling 24 average. So what you need to do is when you're empty and you've got everything dialed in, you've done a full pre-trip, go to the scale house and get an inspection. You may not get it the first time you roll through, but you'll eventually get it. Okay. Moreover, if your safety score is well below average, you can guarantee that in the downturn, when this thing goes down, you're going to be the last carrier that they're going to pick up. Why risk it? They're going to have all these other trucks out there. They're not going to risk it with a safer score. Okay? So remember that. And get it up. Get the safety score up. Go get inspections. Make sure you're right and get your cab book together and make it easy on them and you'll get through it. Okay, so a few other things that I'm going to talk about. I know I've hit it once, but I'm going to do it again, is build your cash reserve. You need to bank everything you can bank for the next 8-12 months. Okay, everything you can bank, you need to put it away. Because when you cut away all the extras and you get down to the nuts of the deal, if it costs you, just for mathematical purposes, if it costs you $2,000 a month just to maintain zero, then you need to have $16,000 in the bank, cash. Because I'm figuring it'll be 6-8 months to a year before we get out of this thing. So plan on that. Whatever your nut is every month, whatever it takes you to survive, you need to multiply that by 8. And that's what you need to have as a cash reserve in the bank. And then you don't have to feel stressed and pressured and running garbage freight. You can sit back and say, look, we're not running it. You know, I'm not running garbage freight. I'll tell you now. I'll sit at the house. So, and again, I preach this. You cannot make money running for break even. Okay, so not only do you have to have a cash reserve, but then you have to get serious about your invoices. The people that owe you money, you need to collect that money. Because let me tell you, you're going to be the last person on their mind when everything crumbles around them. Now, personally, throughout my time, I have right now right at $25,000 on the books. Bad debt. Debt that I'll never see. I know it. I'm turning it over to collections, and then I'll end up writing it off. But you got to do that. So get serious about your invoices. Again, I'm going to run through a couple of these things. I've hit them a couple times, but you've got to cut all non-essential expenses. You just got to cut them. You're going to have to renegotiate with your vendors, and as I said, that's what I'm doing with this cable bill. That cable bill was insane, and you don't look at it when you only look at it when when it affects you. But I'm prepping now for the recession. So now I'm looking at everything. Consider, something you want to consider is downsizing and outsourcing. I'm not talking about getting out of the business, guys. I don't want to see anybody get out of the business that loves this like I love it. I want to see you in there doing the right thing. But downsizing means, for example, if you have 3 trucks on the road, you might want to consider getting rid of 2 and holding on to 1. And that's not a bad thing. You sell your trucks, you sell your trailers, the equipment, you move it over there. That takes away your liability. Your insurance cost comes down. You're lowering your cost, because more than likely these 3 or those other 2 trucks will either sit or be running garbage freight just to run freight, and you don't want to do that. So outsource, downsize, those are options. And I think one of the most important things you can do is get in the know, understand what's happening within the industry, understand what's going on. There are far and away too many things that happen every day within this industry that if you're not up on it, you're going to be behind, period. Freight rates right now are as low as they'll be for the rest of the year. This is the last few days in August. Kids are going back to school. Freight rates are coming back up. And, you got about 8 months, 9 months to get out there and hustle. And according, again, to everybody that's anybody, the recession is coming, because they're not going to stop raising interest rates. So now it's your job to get prepared. I hope I gave you a little insight. Here we go on another roller coaster ride. But if you need anything, please reach out. Thank you, veterans and first responders, for all you do and have done for this country. If you guys need me, I'm here. I'll answer any questions I can. This is Bryan with DD214. Please like, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications, and pass this video around. Share it. Let people see it. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Is it? What's going on?
The sky is falling! The sky is falling!